As promised, we are joined right now by a wide receiver for the Chiefs. He is a Super Bowl champion. He is an All-Pro. He is a Pro Bowl selection. 59 receptions for nearly 700 yards last season. A two-time All-SECer at Georgia. The 56th pick overall back in 2019. You've got Kansas City opening up at Arizona September 11th. Mecole Hardman is my guest. Mecole, it's great to have you on the show. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, dude. It's good to hear your voice. So let me ask you this. Right about now, you are the man of the hour throughout the entire offseason. There's been a lot of talk about you and your potential in this offense. So what is life like for you right about now, and how eager are you to get this thing underway and show everybody what you can do with this opportunity?
Well, life's good. I'm living. But offseason definitely been, let's say, exciting, honestly. You know, just training, trying to get better overall, and get ready to go to camp and just put it all out there and get ready for the season.
All right, then. So you're coming off a season, though, where you had a career high in receiving yardage, and you did some of your best work late in the regular season and then in the postseason. In fact, so good that Andy Reid said he felt like the coaches found, quote, a groove with you in the way that they were using you. So I know you're looking ahead, but what was last season like for you, and then what's it like to have that kind of confidence from Andy Reid?
I think, obviously we lost to the Bengals, but besides that, I think later on, it kind of went good. The groove started going, and plays started coming in, and everything was going great. So just taking that momentum into the next season, and just try to carry that momentum throughout the next season, it should be a good thing for everybody. Honestly, as long as I'm playing good, everybody else around me playing good, it should be a good season.
We're talking to Mecole Hardman, obviously one of the storylines. You've heard this a million times in the offseason, the trade of Tyreek Hill and what that might mean to you personally. Like, did you approach your offseason any differently because of that, knowing that your role is going to be even bigger and that you'll have more opportunities? How did that impact your offseason?
Kind of the same approach, though. I think I always took the offseason very seriously, because you just never know what's going to happen. But now in this situation, I think it's kind of more of a different mindset change, not far as the physical effort or the work ethic that you put in the offseason. I think the mindset just changed to knowing like it's an opportunity, you gotta go take advantage of it, and that's how you gotta train and how you gotta train your mind, especially when they get to training camp. So
I'm glad you mentioned that mindset. I was going to ask you about that very thing next. Mindset. Like, you know how it is in that offense. There are lots of weapons. There are lots of opportunities for a lot of different guys. But in terms of mindset, are you now approaching this as a number one receiver?
I wouldn't necessarily say number one, because I know that overall we're gonna spread the ball around a lot. So just more so a mindset of a bigger role and possibly more targets and more responsibility and just a bigger role. So as far as number one, I just leave that to everybody else on the outside. But I just know like the role and the opportunity is bigger than it has been, and me myself, I have to be ready when that opportunity presents itself.
Mecole Hardman joining us. Listen, nobody understands what Tyreek Hill can do on a field more than you. Nobody's been more respectful of him. He's a generational talent. We know this. He's a game breaker, a difference maker, whatever you want to say. So what's your reaction to the suggestion that a guy like this is so good that the offense inevitably is going to take a step back this year? When you hear that, what do you think?
I don't know. I just feel like they thinking we lost everybody on offense. Like I said earlier today, we still got the best quarterback in the league. We got the best tight end in the league. Got a great offensive line. The best head coach, one of the best play callers in the league, and Eric Bieniemy. It's like we're still here. It's not like we didn't go nowhere. We didn't take a drop off. We lost one of the the greatest players probably to ever play this position, deep threat wise and just playmaking ability. But I think we got a good group of guys that knows, what is learning the offense, and with Pat and Trav leading us, and we taking it from them, I think we're just gonna be fine.
Mecole Hardman is joining us. In fact, doing so in studio. Got him on TV. It looks great. You mentioned your quarterback. I had your former teammate Mitchell Schwartz on the show yesterday. We were talking about Pat, and he was saying what it's like to block for Pat. From a receiver standpoint, what's it like to play with Patrick Mahomes, and how does he make your job easier or different?
I think he spoils you. Me coming into the league and being with a guy with that level of just creativity and playmaking ability, it spoils you as a receiver because he make every throw on the field, no matter if he's rolling left, rolling right in the pocket, and he just had that awareness of getting you open or just letting you know what he's seeing, telling you like, hey, if you see this, do this or do that, and I got you. And it's like you just have the utmost trust in him when he's on the field, so he make it easy for you.
And listen, I understand that you're worried about yourself and you're worried about your own team, but I'm looking around the AFC West. That thing's always been a meat grinder. That is a rough division. It's always been that way. But there's been some big-time additions, which means that division got even tougher. I'm curious, what are the reactions that you've had as you see the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Raiders and what they've done in the offseason?
I guess it's their way of trying to, get to the top of the AFC West and even the AFC. So it's definitely going to be a hard test, hard challenge in the AFC West, and but I think it's gonna be good. We got probably the toughest division now, and those games are gonna be definitely some games to look forward to. We're not shying away from them. We embracing the competition, the challenge, and it's gonna be fun.
Hey, Mecole, what's it feel like to you? For instance, your team has won the division 6 straight years. You've got a Super Bowl ring. You've been to the Super Bowl twice. Do you feel like that you still have the bullseye on your back and they've got to keep up with you guys? Or do you feel like maybe people are sleeping on your whole team?
I think it's a mixture of both. I think to the outside eye, it's like they think that we're taking a step down, but I think to teams, it's still like, we got to go get them. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a mixture of both. But honestly, at the end of the day, you still got to play us. You still got to, go out there and, perform better than us and beat us. So until all that happens, we just don't never know what's going to really happen. So.
You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like a case of they still have to deal with us as much as we have to deal with them. Let me ask you before you go about a couple of things off the field. I saw you checking out Bayern Munich and hanging out with those fellas the other night. What was that experience like for you?
Unreal. I didn't know Bayern Munich was that big in Germany, but to actually experience the game and actually meet some of the players afterwards, I think it was a great experience for me, and definitely good for the international side for the NFL, especially branching off to Germany and having those rights with those guys. So it's definitely it's a big opportunity, and seeing those guys play and the level of play that they have, I'm lost for words to even see how they even play like that. So it definitely was a good experience.
That's high praise. That's high respect. Also, I saw you do a video for GQ where you broke down what you did with your first $1 million. And the very first thing you did was buy your parents a home. I'm curious, I could say, what did that mean to you? In fact, I will say, what did that mean to you? But can you kind of also describe the kind of sacrifices and what the family has to give up for you to be in the position you're in right now? And then what it felt like to thank them and pay it back?
Yeah, growing up, mom, dad making, nothing into something, and I think as kids, you never realize the sacrifices your parents made, as you're growing up. Like in my case, I kind of figured it out later on when I got my senior year or my freshman year in college. I started, realizing everything they actually done to that point up and the sacrifices they made. So when I got to the league, it's like a no-brainer. Like, what do y'all need? I'm finna take care of y'all. So here y'all go.
You know what I wonder, Mecole, when you're coming up like that, as a young person and you've got this opportunity to kind of change the trajectory of your family, maybe create generational wealth, do you feel pressure, or does that pressure feel like a privilege and a great opportunity? What does that feel like as a young person coming up?
Obviously, I think it's a privilege, and a great motivational tool to, you know, keep you grounded, keep you leveled, and keeping the bigger picture at hand. You know, because once you come from that and you actually have that why and know why you're playing and you know what you're doing it for, I think it keeps you at a level you need to be at, and it helps you, you know, throughout your career. So trying to create that wealth for, you know, even like your smaller siblings or just your parents, so they can just live the rest of their life, you know, carefree. I think that keeps you going, keep you striving, and trying to be the best you can.
You know, one last thought. I'm glad you mentioned the why. This is something I think about a lot, especially at this point in my life. You got to have a why, right? You have to have a why. If you don't have a why, you're going to get up in the morning. You're not going to have any kind of blueprint, any kind of map, any kind of plan. The thing about having a why can get you there. But as a high-level athlete, I know you know this, guys get there because of their why, but then they get paid or they get that big contract, and then all of a sudden the why is not as strong. How important is it to maintain the intensity and fire of the why and build on that why?
I mean, it's very important because it's guys that's, you know, speaking in this football aspect, it's guys behind you that has a why too. So you don't want to be that guy think it's already there, all cool, you know, but, you know, it's guys behind you that, you know, come and lead every day that's trying to, you know, take your spot or, you know, get in front of you on a depth chart, what it may be. So even if you do get a new contract, if your why is not as strong, you need to find another why that is strong as like your other why was, so you can keep that motivation, that intensity, and that work ethic that you had before that got you to where you was in that second contract to keep you, you know, elevated and keep your game to where it needs to be.
My man, I hope they heard that. That's gold. You have to maintain your why, and if that why is not as strong as it used to be, you have to find another why. He's a wide receiver for the Chiefs. He's already a Super Bowl champ. He's an All-Pro, a Pro Bowl selection, coming off a big year and a huge opportunity ahead. Mecole Hardman, my guest. Mecole, I appreciate you. Great to have you on the show finally. Really appreciate that conversation. I hope you and I can do it again soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. That was fun. And my man found his way to a studio. That's a true simulcast TV get right there. Nice job.